Hey, hi, hello, welcome to my fourth or fifth iteration of my YouTube channel. If you are new here, welcome. If you have been around, welcome back. If I'm popping up and you have subscribed to me and you're like, who is this person? This YouTube channel's gone through some changes. I guess it was almost a year and a half ago now, actually. That was kind of my last revival of the YouTube channel, if you will. I don't know, I've always had this drive to create content, but I guess lacked a little bit of direction, and I've tried out a couple of different things and nothing really stuck, but I am back. I want to keep making a variety of videos, but really focusing on my crochet, because that is a hobby that I love, that I've stuck with, which is really rare for me. And so recently I've started creating content over on Instagram for my crochet, and I've been having so much fun with it. It's given me a lot of creative freedom, but also a blend of a lot of things that I enjoy doing. The crochet itself, taking the photos, doing the videos. I've been trying to get into short form video. It's not really my thing. I'm a talker, so it's a little bit of a challenge. But anyways, I digress. If you're here, welcome. Today's video, we are going to be crocheting a tank top for Pride at the end of the month. It is currently June 16th. My local Pride festival is June 28th. I think that's the day. Today's Monday. It's 2 Saturdays from now. So I'm definitely on short notice. I decided to crochet a shirt for this kind of very last minute, and I ordered the yarn online, so it has taken a bit of time to come in. So we are going to see if we can crunch time do it in 2 weeks. I know realistically I could if I devote enough time to it. The trick is going to be if I can get myself to devote enough time to it. I'm going to tell you what shirt we're doing. We are going to make the abuela tank. I have made one before, so I'll show that to you. It is overall this shape. It's granny stitches with a chain one in between them, and then a single crochet with a reverse single crochet last row for the edging. This is made with a weight 3 yarn. The pattern calls for a weight 2, and today we're going to be using a weight 1. So we're going to have to do some math and some adjusting, and unfortunately for me, I'm going to have to do a swatch. I hate doing a swatch, but I'm going to have to, so that I can do all the math so I know what size I need to actually make. The other thing that we are going to be doing is playing yarn chicken. This is more than just the yarn for my current shirt, because when I order from Hobby? I'm going to call it Hobby. When I order from them, I have to order at least $50 worth of yarn to get free shipping. We'll start with this. This is going to be for the shirt. It's all, let me turn it. It's all Friends Cotton 8.4. For their 10-year anniversary sale recently, this was on a super large discount, and so obviously it's got the colors that I need for rainbow. And then I am really struggling now that Joanne is out of business to buy yarn online, because I always worry about texture and if the colors don't quite match. And this blue is a color that I have been wanting to get my hands on but nervous to order. It's exactly what I wanted, so that's great. And I really wanted this pink, and so since they were in the pack, I was like, I'll get this. I have a project in mind, and then I'll get an idea of what these colors look like and how they compare to what's online. I just got 3 skeins of white to round out my rainbow shirt that we're making today. Like I said, I think we're gonna end up playing yarn chicken. So this is on sale, and I put 1 in my cart, and before I checked out, I meant to increase the quantity to 2 so that I would for sure have enough, and I forgot to do that, so things could get dicey. So I think what I'm gonna do is do all the math for the measurements because I'm using a weight 1 yarn, but the pattern calls for a weight 2, so there will definitely be some adjusting there. And then the pattern is worked in the front panel and then the back panel and then it being connected. I'm going to calculate how many rows I have, divide it by 6, so I know the total amount of rows divided by 6, so I know how many rows for each specific color that I need. And so then instead of working the entire front panel and then the entire back panel, I'm going to start with the red, do all the rows that I need in red, and then go ahead and do like the back panel, the same amount of rows in red. And if I can accomplish that, then I have enough yarn for the entire project, because that's like the widest part of the shirt. And if I can do the front and the back in that color, then I'll be able to do the rest of it no problem. If I can't do that, I am going to add in some white in between the stripes of color, which I don't entirely want to do because I did only get 3, thinking I was only going to be using it for the border. And like I said, it was all an afterthought because I meant to increase this quantity to 2 so I wouldn't have this problem, which is why I didn't get enough white. But I think if I run out of white, I will be able to find something in store at like Michael's or something similar, hopefully. But anyways, I just did my measurement for the widest part of my chest, so I can go ahead and start calculating the math that I need to do. According to this pattern and my chest measurement, I should be making a size 5. It's the same as the last time I made it, like the measurements are still a size 5, so that part is good. So it has a chain 27. I should be making 6 granny stitches and 10 rows, and it should make 4 inches by 4 inches to meet gauge. I'm really nervous. This is gonna run out. I am gonna start with a 4mm hook, and we will kind of just go from there. I've got 2 rows of my swatch done. So I'm gonna go ahead and measure at least the width of it, which should be 10 centimeters. That way I just know if I need to go like up or down hook size. Okay, so it's way off. Haha, ha 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 ha. That's crazy. I'm not liking how dense it is for what I'm trying to do. I'll show you. I think I want it a little more airy. So anyways, I was hoping I could just meet gauge, and since I was using a lighter yarn, it would be kind of more what I wanted. I think I'm gonna go back to the 3.5. I'm gonna go back to the 3.5mm hook. I'm going to do however many chains it takes to reach the length that I need, which I'll double check. I think I'm going for 26 inches. No, I'm going for 24. So I'm gonna do however many chains it takes to get to 24 inches. And then let's say, I don't know how many that's gonna be, but let's say it's 100 chains. So then 100 chains, according to this pattern, 100 chains is in between size 1 and 2. So I would go with size 2. And then just kind of like follow the pattern for size 2. Periodically double checking the sizes, making sure it's everything I want. I think it's finally time to watch Dr. Hibbs. Yeah. Oh, I am literally so early into this, and I already did something wrong. I skipped 4 when I meant to skip 3. So I actually need to redo that. It shrunk up a little, I guess. When I did the chain, it was like 23 inches. But then when I actually went through with the first pass. It's only like a little more than 20, so I'm gonna add 12 more to the original chain. So I'll be following actually size 2. So I think I'm gonna have to do 12 more. So following size 3. But it's time for Love Island, so we gotta switch. We gotta switch the TV situation. I have flagged this so many times because I kept changing my mind about, well, obviously I changed my mind about starting with purple instead of red, but I kept changing my mind about like how many stitches I wanted to do, and I ended up frogging everything and doing up a hook size because I wanted it to be more open. And so I'm 2 rows in, and this is pretty close to the 24-inch width that I needed it to be. So I think this is where we're gonna stay. Obviously it's just gonna take time to see if we have enough yarn, but I feel like the answer is gonna be no, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. It might end up being like I have thinner stripes on the bottom and thicker stripes on the top, or another thing I was thinking about is like on the front it goes like from red at the top to purple at the bottom, and on the back it goes purple at the bottom to red at the top. That's not my preference, but like if I'm running out of yarn, I'm running out of yarn. Obviously the white stripes in the middle. I feel like the solution I would end up liking the most is like the bottom being thinner stripes, and as it goes up the stripes get thicker. That way it can be the same on the front and the back. It's still not ideal though, so whatever, time will tell. I guess time will tell. I guess I'll just like update you guys periodically throughout this process, and we will see where we end up on the other side of it all. But here's the start of it. This is all I'm getting today because it's midnight and I'm so tired. So see you tomorrow maybe. I woke up thinking about this shirt, obviously, because I started it last night. I came up with a new color scheme that I think I'm going to do. And I did a like quick sketch on my phone, so you can kind of like get the idea of where we're going. Okay, I'm back, and with updates, I spent my entire workday thinking about this shirt and how I wanted to stripe it. So my final decision is I'm gonna go work my way up in the rainbow in rows of 3. So every color, 3 rows. And then when I get to red, I'm gonna do 3 rows of white, and then I'm gonna step my way back down. So it'll go from purple up to red, white, and then red up to purple, white. And so if I do that twice, I get to, how many rows? 18, 21, 42. Is that how math works? I think like 42 rows. The pattern calls for 44 rows. And so then those last 2 rows, I'll just do purple again as if I was like starting the pattern over. So this is where we're at. For 3 rows, I have like 1.25 inches of height. And so I like did the math, and that should equate to like 6 inches and 2/3 for the bottom part. That's supposed to be 7, which I don't mind. I don't mind it being a little bit shorter. The one that I already made, that height is only 5.5 inches, and I was happy there. So I was kind of like, for this one, as long as I get at least 5.5 inches. So as long as everything goes the same, it should be 6, almost 7 inches when I'm done with this part. So I did this, and then I did the back panel So front and back panel, and then I wanted to see how much yarn I had because I was worried that I'll run out. And I still have like a good chunk left. Obviously, like the middle of this is hollow, but I don't think I'm gonna have any problems with yarn. That's why I decided to do this, because instead of doing like 6 rows of purple all like in the widest width, this makes it to where I do the widest width 3 rows, and then when I get back to purple in the shirt, it'll be at a narrower piece. So I feel like I'm less likely to play yarn chicken that way. I cannot speak today, but anyways, that's where we're at. I feel good about it. So now that I like feel good about the amount of yarn left over, I'm gonna start actually working just one panel at a time. Okay, I have been crocheting for like 2 hours. I finished the first set of stripes, so I just started on the decreases like in the last 2 rows. So as far as like width, I'm feeling good about it. I think what I'm gonna do now, so I've got, this is, can I do math? This is 18 rows. For this size, have a total of 44. So now I'm gonna do 4 stripes of white, and then I'm gonna work backwards. 4 stripes of white, and then 3 red, 3 orange, 3 yellow, 3 green, 3 blue, 3 purple. And then I'll finish off with another 4 sets of white up at the top. So yeah, I'm very excited. I think the sizing on this one, I like the fit of the last shirt I made with this pattern, but it objectively fits not in the way that the pattern was meant to, which makes sense. I was using the wrong weight yarn. This is still using the wrong weight yarn, but I think this is like going to fit more how it was supposed to. But I'm really excited. I really like the way it looks, and I have my first rainbow. So yeah, we're not done working tonight.
Confirmed right there.
Jump scare, I finished it. So I spent last weekend, it's Wednesday, I spent last weekend helping a friend wedding dress shop, and we went to a couple different cities, so we had some pretty long car rides, and so I was just crocheting away in between the car rides, in between the appointments. I did a lot. That is the fastest I've ever completed a wearable. And it's not like fast in terms of hours. In terms of hours, I would say still like definitely the fastest I've done, but it wasn't like extremely fast by any means. I just put a lot of work in over the past, like over last weekend. So I was able to finish it on Saturday. So for those keeping track, I got the yarn on Tuesday, and essentially the only thing I accomplished that first night was the gauge swatch and figuring out like the math of how I wanted to make the garment, and then I did I did the bottom row of purple. I think that's all I got done like on Tuesday, and then the rest of it was Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So 4 days of work for the most part. And so yeah, I'm just getting around to showing you guys, but here, hang on, I'll pull you down so you can see it a little bit better. But here it is. I really do love it. The fit is exactly what I wanted. I was a little bit nervous because the last one that I made, like I said, I was not meeting gauge for the last one that I made. And I had a yarn. I had a yarn that the pattern did not call for last time I made this, which this is still the same. This is a weight 1. The pattern calls for a weight 2. The first time I made it was with a weight 3 yarn, and this time was with a weight 1. But when I was making it with the weight 3 yarn, that was the first garment I had ever constructed. I mean, this is really only the second, but I learned a lot in that first one of how to like adjust as needed to like still follow the pattern, but still get the fit that I'm looking for. I went back and forth on how exactly I was going to do the stripes like 10 million different times. And I think the last update I gave you guys was probably that I was going to do stripes and then like 3 or 4 rows of white stripes and then have like the tops of the shoulders be white. And I decided in the moment to go ahead and do 8 rows right here so that it was just 1 row on the top of white, because I felt like if the color ended like right here and then the rest of it was white, like it felt like it was going to look off in my head. This is what I obviously ended up finally deciding for the stripes. I'm really happy with it. I don't think I would really change anything about it. I love how breathable it is. I'm really excited. So it's Wednesday. I'm wearing this to Pride on Saturday. So I'm really excited because we're in the middle of a heat wave and this is so airy. And it's cotton, so when it gets sweaty and nasty and gross and I have to wash it, like it'll hold well. But yeah, I don't really have any other final thoughts. This is the shirt. I'm really proud of it. I'm really proud of how fast I got it done. Oh, I guess the one other thing is the amount of yarn I used. Hang on. Let's see. Orange is a good color to show you. This like stripe of orange, for example, is in the full width of the shirt. That is the widest part of the shirt. And then the orange up here is right after the decreases. So like, I think it's the orange, the yellow, and the green that like all had that same amount of yarn. That's the most yarn that I use like in the pattern. Most yarn of one color. I don't know what I'm trying to say. Point is, I was really worried about running out of yarn because I only had 1 skein of each color, and that's like why the white's in there. And so doing the widest part right here, and then the fully decreased width up here, and then of course it's the same in the back, and I've got like this much left. But yeah, anyways, I have plenty of yarn left over. I know that was something I was really worried about when I was starting this project. But yeah, I have this shirt just in time. This is only like I said, my second wearable. First time feeling really confident while I was making a wearable. I'll catch you guys in the next one, I guess.